it's a story, but also a testimony that for two reasons. One was to thank Dr. Jacobson for inventing this great technology.
Yes.
Secondly, was to thank Alan for taking this company and taking it to another level. And finally, also thanking Steve for convincing me to go ahead, although I was not a big believer of it at first, but he kept going, and I said, you know what, just bring it over and we'll try it. So between the three of you brings me to my story. So 2 years ago, I believe, just before leaving for Quebec City, which is where he's from initially, which is about 3 hours away, a patient of mine brings me this book and he says, you know what, read this book, it'll make you feel good about your life. I said, all right, it's a little thin book, about 125 pages. And it's a story of this man that was raised in a family with a drunken dad that used to get beaten up. Every day he used to get beaten up. Then at the age of 9, well, he used to get beaten up, and therefore he would go to school and he would start fighting in school. That's how he was raised. By the age of 9, he discovered that drinking makes people happy. His dad was quite happy before beating him up. So he started drinking at the age of 9, got into drinking heavily at Christmas parties and all that. By the age of 12, it was drugs. And by the age of 14, he was out of school. And by the age of 18, he was drunk, he was stoned most of the time, decided that he was going to put an end to his life. Jumped on a motorcycle, and he was just going to drive full speed and run into a wall until the motor took up on fire. So missed up on his suicide attempt. He said, you know what, I'm going to try again. Started taking parachuting lessons. And the first times you go on parachuting, you got to go with a team up, right? Whatever they call it, tango or tandem. So got that level. Second one was the parachute opens up by itself. And he goes, okay, the third time, that's it. I'm going for it. I'm never going to open up the parachute. By that point, I think he's 24, 25 years old. So the day before that he was going to go on his third attempt and commit suicide, all these letters were written out. They were all distributed to all the people. Open this up tomorrow. Anyway, so today, the day before, he decides, somebody calls him, can you help me out scuba diving? So there's a car deep down that needs something. We need to go get it. He goes, all right, I'll help you out. He goes, but unfortunately, he came up a little too quickly. Came out of the water, he realized there was something wrong. He says, bring me to the hospital. I need to get into the chamber. Doctor says, don't worry, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. So next thing you know, pop, an air bubble at T8, I think, exploded. Became instantly paraplegic. So he's now, imagine tomorrow he's going to commit suicide. Today, can't even do anything. Except he had one toe that was somewhat moving. So he says, my God, if I get one toe to move, there's signal going down my leg. He would drag himself out of the bed into his wheelchair. Sometimes he would fall off the bed. I'm kind of giving you the story of the book basically now. So got into the physio department and started dragging himself and dragging his legs and somehow managed to get his legs moving again. Doctors couldn't believe it. It was a miracle. And so I'm reading the book and I said, okay, that's great. Then he would get a job. He was making $12,000 a year. That was his annual salary because he had no education, could barely walk, and he was pumping gas at a gas station. Got married and found a wife, and now he was a janitor in the building and he was living life. And I said, that's it? I read this 120 pages and that's it? He's a janitor and he lives, and life was good. So something inside of me got me to reach out, Got onto iTunes, not iTunes, but all these contact social things. I finally got his email.
Facebook?
No, LinkedIn. So I reached out to him. He called me 2 days later, now around Christmas time, and I said, look, I may have something that can help you out. I don't know what state you are in because I don't know, you didn't mention that at the end of the book. He goes, look, I'm ready to try anything. I'm desperate. So now we're going 26 years after his injury. So he comes into the office around Christmas time, and I said, Danielle, great, thanks for coming in. And first of all, I said, how's your sleep? He goes, well, I sleep. He goes, I sleep between 6 to 7 hours a week. I said, oh my God. So I said, what about your digestive system with your T8? He goes, oh, he goes, I go to the can maybe once every 3 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. But he goes, when I do go, I fill the toilet bowl. And at that one point, I take an ashtray and I got to stop it and finish it off in a bucket. And then I got to go and empty out the toilet. I said, oh my God. I said, every time I say this story, I got goosebumps. But I said, that's no way to live. So basically, I said, look, I got this machine. I said, I'm not expecting anything, but let's give it a try. He goes, Alain, he goes, I'll try anything. He goes, it's been 26 years of misery. My pain level is not at 9 or 10 on 10. It's a 14 on 10. That's what his book is. I wish everyone would read this book. It's in French, though, but it's a great book. So I said, let's give it a try. So we started the Magnisphere. And sorry, this must have been October, because 2 months later, he comes into the clinic. He goes, Alain, it's a miracle. Miracle. I said, what's going on? He goes, well, last night, so now we're on around December 27th, I think. He goes, it was my best Christmas ever. I said, Daniel, what happened? He goes, well, on the 24th, the evening of the 24th, Christmas Eve, he goes, I laid down on bed, and he goes, I went like that, and I went like that. You know, basically putting his legs on the bed. I said, yeah, so? He goes, Alain, you don't understand. He's speaking French. He goes, I went like that. I went like that. I said, yeah, I've seen you. I said, so? He goes, it's been 26 years that I've been able to, I've had to lift my leg and lift my legs over the bed. I said, wow. And he goes, the next morning, my pain, I didn't have any burning pain in my legs. He goes, it's been the best Christmas present ever. So I said, wow. So he did a few testimonies, which I think Steve has seen on the YouTube, and we carried on. Now, this fellow has no money, right? He's a janitor and no job, basically. So I've been treating him pretty much for free. Whatever my cost is, that's what he pays. We've also mixed it up with reflexology. So while he's being treated, the reflexologist is also doing reflexology at the same time. So a year later, because he's been coming in every year, a year later he says, Alain, he goes, now my pain used to be a 14 on 10, and also to sleep, he used to be on medicated pot. He goes, I've cut away the medication, I'm now sleeping, and my pain is maybe a 3, 4 on 10. So he goes, without that, he goes, it's been 26 years of trying this, trying that, and in 1 year, I was able to reduce my medication by 50% and my pain by maybe 70%.